the memory she tried to bury in the snow. Tonight, traveler, pull up your chair and warm your hands, because outside the Wisconsin winter is sharpening its teeth, and the wind is carrying a name it hasn't spoken in years. A woman is wandering through the snow tonight, and she's trying to outrun a memory she buried long, long ago. If you enjoy these real talk stories wrapped in fantasy, go ahead and tap like and subscribe, and let the tavern doors stay open for you. Now, let me tell you what happened the night she came back. A blizzard came early that year. Wisconsin winters always bite, but that night was different. The cold felt personal, as if it remembered something and wanted her to remember too. Her name was Marin Ellis, a woman who had spent 10 years pretending she'd forgotten where she came from. She trudged down an empty country road, boots sinking into fresh snow, her breath forming crooked ghosts in the air. She wasn't running from a person. No, she was running from a moment she had spent a decade trying to freeze. But memories have a cruel habit. Even the ones we bury come back with shovels. She slipped on the ice, caught herself, and when she looked up, there it was. A wooden sign hanging from nowhere, swinging gently in a wind that didn't exist. Warm light spilling out from windows that absolutely should not be in the middle of rural Wisconsin. The Wandering Tavern. It appears where it's needed and disappears when its work is done. Inside, the walls glowed amber with firelight. Patrons from a dozen worlds warmed their spirits, and I, your old friend Lion, was polishing the bar when the door blew open with a gust of snow and regret. Marin stepped inside shivering, and behind her, brushing frost off of his coat, was Alex. He had been gathering herbs in the winter fields, and since the tavern chooses who can see it, Lion, Alex said quietly. She was standing in the middle of the road, like she forgot where the ground was. Marin stared at the hearth, like a drowning woman stares at the surface. I recognized the look of someone who thinks they are past their pain, only for winter to remind them how much they still carry. I motioned her towards a seat, and slowly, carefully, she began to speak. Her hands trembled around the mug I set in front of her, not from the cold, but from the thaw. Marin told us about the night the lake took her brother, not because anyone was reckless, but because sometimes winter swallows things without asking permission. She was 13. He had been 15. They were skating on the frozen lake behind their childhood home, laughing in warm breaths clouding the air, until the ice made a sound no one forgets. A long, slow crack that hums straight through your bones. They tried to run. Her brother pushed her ahead, told her to keep going, told her he was right behind her, and when she looked back, there was only a dark hole in the ice, and the echo of his name ringing in her throat. For years she tried to numb the memory. She moved cities, changed jobs, changed friends, changed states. But Wisconsin winters always found her. Every first snowfall, the memory scratched its way to the surface. She never forgave herself. I left him. I left him in the cold. I've spent 10 years trying to forget, and tonight the snow wouldn't let me. She buried her face in her hands. I shared a quiet look with Alex. He handed me a small satchel of frost herbs. I brewed them into the firelight tea we use here when a heart is thawing faster than a mind can keep up. I sat across from her, and, not as a storyteller, but as someone who knows the weight of memory, I spoke. You didn't leave him, you lived for him. And winter isn't punishing you, it's calling you back because there's something you still need to understand. She looked up, red-eyed, exhausted. I gestured toward the window. Snow fell silently, but in the reflection, she saw something she hadn't seen in years. Her younger self, standing on the ice, reaching a hand toward her, not accusing, but waiting. Memory isn't meant to be forgotten, it's meant to be integrated, and the tavern gave her one night to stop running from the ice and let it melt. Guided by Alex and me, Marin stepped back out into the snow. The tavern's lanterns cast warm halos on the drifts. The storm had calmed, not because the weather changed, but because she had. We walked with her until the world shifted, as the tavern often does, and suddenly she stood on a frozen lake. Not the real one, no. This was the memory, but softened, gentled, a place where healing could happen. Marin knelt and pressed her palm to the ice. It glowed faintly beneath her hand, and a voice, soft, warm, familiar, rose from below, her brother's voice. You didn't leave me. I let you go so you could live. I never blamed you, Marin. You blamed yourself. She collapsed into sobs that cracked years of frost. When she finally stood, the lake was whole again. The crack was gone, the hole sealed. The memory was still there, but no longer jagged. She returned with us to the tavern entrance. The door swung open, warm light spilling out, and I saw something in her face I hadn't seen before. Relief. Real, unfiltered, unburied relief. I think I can go home now. I think I can face winter again. She hugged Alex. He froze awkwardly as he always does, but he smiled and squeezed back. She thanked me, and the tavern, satisfied with its work, released her back into the real Wisconsin night. As the tavern door closed, the blizzard softened into gentle snowfall. Some memories freeze us, others free us, but the only way past them is through the snow we keep avoiding. If tonight's tale warmed you, if it helped melt something you didn't know was frozen, tap like, subscribe, and stay close, traveler. The winter is long, but you're not walking it alone. Your old friend Lion is always here behind the bar, waiting for your next story.